Hi, I'm Elizabeth Nelson, and I know that a lot of you have seen the news and have gotten a lot of letters from CEOs, or maybe you have. I've gotten a lot of letters from business owners kind of informing us of what their strategic plan is for how they're going to handle their business during the coronavirus, how they're going to manage their employees and their time and their performance and their budgets. So I thought it would be a really good time for me to touch base with people and just share a little bit about what's going on with my work with Inspire Wellbeing. Beginning in 2015 and 16, I started to create activewear and loungewear on the computer, making designs, all kinds of fun running shorts, sports bras, and yoga wear. And I started that from Marietta, Georgia and Cedartown, Georgia. And I worked on that for a few years. And then I came back to Florida March 16th, 2017. And the purpose of coming back was to reunite with my son. And so many of you don't know me well enough to know who my son is, but my son and I were together until he was 5 years old. And as the founder of a small coaching and consulting business, I was frequently recruited to other positions, meaning to do contract work or to work as a team member or an employee for another business, which gave me the opportunity to be able to do the work that I love, which was advertised on my website, and do it in a company where other people requested my services. And so I share that with you because in Florida, in Pinellas County, where I lived since 1994, I experienced something called home and business identity theft. And it was something that happened a little bit prior to my son and I being separated, but absolutely having my son taken was identity theft. You know, when someone calls you mommy, that's a big part of what your identity is. And I know moms and dads can relate to when their child calls them mommy or daddy, how significant of a life role that plays. So the passionate work that I've done in the past includes personal training, yoga instructor, group personal trainer, nutrition coaching, and consulting on supplements. I've also worked in the field of healthcare since 1994, and really it's all healthcare, but some of it I was working with people with special needs who needed assistance managing psychiatric diagnoses. And so I share that with you because I worked in the state office in Pinellas County and also Hillsborough County, where I worked as a trainer, and part of my role was to certify case managers in order to provide their services. And I was the one who organized the training and put it together, but it was taking place before me. And there was a team of us that actually came together to provide these seasonal trainings for a large group of people who were being certified to perform in-home and out-of-the-home services. So with that said, my little one was starting kindergarten at age 5, and when he was going into kindergarten, he was at a 3rd grade reading level, and he was doing really well, and he asked could he be homeschooled. And so being homeschooled would have been a joy for both of us, and absolutely the best decision. But he was going to school 3 miles away from our home, and he was going to go to school in his dad's school district for the first time. And so with that said, when we were together and we were always playing on the computer, we were playing, learning was play. And as a teacher, I have a master's in education from University of South Florida. As a teacher, I focused on corporate training, human resources development. That was my area of focus. And so I often brought wellness solutions to human resource departments or implemented the ones that they proposed. We would negotiate contracts, we would create solutions, and then I would begin. And what that allowed me to do was to make a little more money than I would if I worked by the hour, but it also let me work for short periods of time with a little bit of income and to prioritize being with my son. I was highly criticized for that. I was told many times I needed to work full-time, put my son in childcare, and I resisted so much because I wanted to be with him every minute of the day. I just loved seeing his first walk, his first, words, all of that. I didn't want to miss any of it. And so what happened was during my son's summer before kindergarten, I started noticing some files moved around on my computer, and I noticed that somebody was actually logged in at the same time as me using my computer. And so I reported that to the police, and when I reported that, they asked me, did I have any suspects? And when I did tell them I had one suspect, they went and checked that out, and then they made a police note, and I never did hear back from them. And so what ended up taking place is the computer invasion continued, and I experienced my whole entire business got sabotaged. My PayPal bank account was closed. My email accounts were compromised. Personal contacts, telephone numbers were deleted. Some emails were transposed, meaning the words, the names of somebody would be mismatched. It was really a professional hack job. It appeared like somebody maybe was knowledgeable about how to do that and could just maybe put a virus on my computer or something. But anyway, I lost a lot of very important information. I also spent those first 5 years with my son, with him on my lap, him in my arms, working on the computer with one hand. As many moms know, you multitask and you just get it done. And so I lost my email marketing contacts. I lost my website content. I lost my bank account with PayPal. Many, 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 many pieces of data were compromised and taken. And so what happened when I was seeking help for that was I was actually hypnotized to not speak. And so my throat chakra, I could not speak. I could start to speak, but then I was told, you speak when you're spoken to. And so in this act of being hypnotized to not speak, I went through a full year of hearings where my son was taken from me, and I was unable to speak. And why I share this with you is because there are also times when I have been hypnotized to speak. And so my son also has been hypnotized, and now to this day I do know at least one of the hypnotists, and I have in the past known others, but I do know, and that is kind of empowering to know how you got here, right? So with that you can create another solution. But why I share this story with you is because I have worked with women's and children's health for the Baycare Health System as a coach, but my title was Education Generalist. And I also worked as a team member in the education department. And so I was experiencing harassment symptoms while I was working in that department, and I was experiencing the symptoms I described earlier. And so when I left that department, soon after, I lost my home, and I lost my car, and I of course lost my son first, and we lost our kitten. And so we experienced a tremendous amount of loss. First we lost each other, which was completely unexpected. We were not prepared for whatsoever. I had requested a protective order because of the computer stalking, and I was given it for 2 days, and then it was overturned. The actual hearing never happened. Investigation may have taken place, but I was never given any information, and my son was taken and given to his dad. So I was working in the school system at the time as a coach for kids. I lost that opportunity in addition to losing my son. And for 6 months, I sustained on some guardianship income that I was responsible for before losing my home. And so I wanted to let you know, I know it's election year coming up this year, and I'm not exactly sure what can be done differently, but I can assure you that the numbers of human trafficking and sex trafficking in Florida are high, and so are the numbers of identity fraud and theft. And so in our situation, the most horrible thing happened is that a false petition was created that separated us, and that separation is still taking place today. So I just wanted to give you an update that as I'm creating my activewear and loungewear, it's move forward, stay inspired, be happy, and all that, and do the best you can without having your son. It sounds impossible, right? I just wanted you to know I miss all of you, and I had to leave and go to Georgia for my own safety because I have been a victim of domestic violence from the Pinellas County justice system. And it's my belief that there is a global solution if you solve that local problem. Namaste.